So as a recap, we're recording.
Mm-hmm.
As a recap, you and Richtol and his hunting party just battled some pteranodons and the broodmother in the area to eliminate basically their presence.
Mm-hmm.
You begin to take a short rest, and you felt a disturbance and noticed a small little mushroom that began talking to you and told you to eat him. So you did. You looked over at the broodmother and realized, while your eyes were closed, and saw the Lifelight vein, and basically, when you looked at the heart, you got a big, huge flash, and then everything went dark.
Mm-hmm.
So, after a moment of complete darkness, you're kind of unconscious right now. You're kind of having a vision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You begin to see a looks very distant, very small, little ball. Looks like a ball of moss. And you see that Lifelight vein running through it, and pulsing and expanding very rapidly. And that ball growing, and as it grows, mushrooms begin to sprout out of it. And after the mushrooms are there for a little while, you notice that water begins to rise out of the moss ball and raise to the top of the mushroom caps. And you see this happen pretty quickly in your vision. But you get a sense...
Like watching mushrooms growing and fast.
Yeah. But
fast
you get a sense of time is... You're watching time go by fast. And as soon as the ball stops forming, it begins to rotate. And you see all these little mushroom caps piercing through the water. And as it keeps rotating, you notice more distinct features happening on the mushroom caps, on the top of them. Then you start noticing what look to be little movements of like something's living on there. Then it stops rotating over a continent, or a mushroom cap. And then very quickly, you zoom in all the way, and you are now seeing your body sitting there, meditating. And you realize that what you just saw was where you're at.
Damn.
The map I gave you, now you have an idea of the world. There is something that you did notice as you were zooming in, that you caught your eye.
Mm-hmm.
So I will show you where you are at. You are currently right here.
Okay.
As you were zooming back in, you notice this cap. And there's like a dark ring around it. You can't make what it is.
Like a visibly dark ring?
Yes.
Like geography type dark ring?
It's black.
Like... So it wasn't me sensing something magical necessarily. It was more like if you were up in space and looking at that place.
If you were in the ISS over my world, every time this rotated, you would see a black ring.
Okay. Alright. mental note of that particular spot.
So, but you are on this continent.
Alright. Fairly plain continent, not a lot of geography going on there.
So this is like a scattered forest with some plains land.
Yeah, I can see the different...
Okay, there's a, like, desert area.
Desert, beachy...
Yeah, over here.
An arid
okay.
area, yeah.
And here, you can't really tell, but it's that lush forest.
Okay.
So, can't really...
So, more like a kind of forest you see in South America, where it's like more like a rainforest type.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It is essentially a rainforest.
Okay. Kind of got the feeling that's what I was walking through.
Yeah. And as you're seeing yourself outside of yourself, you begin to see the veins of the Lifelight entangling and entwining around you. You, not your out-of-body you.
The body of me sitting on the ground that I'm looking at.
And as this begins to happen and you get engulfed in the Lifelight, you feel yourself being pulled back into your body. But as you get closer, the veins start reaching out towards you from your body. And the moment contact happens, you are hit with a sense of knowledge that you didn't understand before, but now you can comprehend. You are a spore druid.
So, like, I just got these powers of being a druid, and then all of a sudden, I'm a highly specialized druid that deals with spores.
And the veins entangle inside of your spiritual body and pull you back in. You come to consciousness, and with your eyes still closed, you notice that you don't feel intoxicated or inebriated in any way, shape, or form. But you can see the Lifelight around you.
Even with my eyes closed.
With your eyes closed. You begin to open your eyes, light adjusts. It's pretty hardcore meditation. Can't notice the Lifelight.
With my eyes open.
But you see Rickdole and his comrades tending to their fallen member and making a makeshift grave because there's really no point. Notice there wasn't a graveyard around the city or the village. There's a reason for that. They bury them where they die. There's too many too fast. A graveyard would take up at least 5 times the village now.
Yeah, with how fast they're aging and dying and repopulating, yeah, it would make sense that this is a more proper custom for them.
And as you open your eyes, you and Rickdole catch a glance. And about time you came back.
long was I out?
At least a couple hours.
I'm terribly sorry.
It's almost evening now.
It was morning.
It was noon when you rested.
It was?
When you guys sat down, had lunch, all that stuff.
I thought we went out, like, super early in the morning.
You did go out super early in the morning. How long do you think it would take to dress that many dinosaurs?
Probably a while, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is, like, we weren't planning on going further?
No, the plan was to go to the cave. The plan
Okay.
is still to go to the cave.
We're taking the meat to the cave.
They have it in pouches and bags. You don't know how they're transporting that big of creatures, but...
I know about extra-dimensional spaces.
Yep. I mean, you imagine that it's something to do with that, because when you came to, all the dinosaurs are gone.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry for holding us up so much. That was not intentional.
I didn't think so. I mean, you were acting pretty funny for a while there.
Funny how?
You were mumbling stuff under your breath. Not making any sense.
I look down at my hands and kind of wiggle my fingers, and obviously I can feel a completely different kind of magic flowing through me
You
now.
are aware of the magic that you are connected with.
Well, apparently I needed to do that. I think I may be a little more used now.
So, the trance was so deep and so heavy, it was equivalent to a long rest.
Mhm.
That's why you were able to level up.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Well,
have you finished caring for your fallen man?
yes. Basically, we've been kind of waiting on you for about a half hour now.
I would like to see the grave if that's possible. I would like to try something.
You're more than welcome to. As you get up and approach the grave, the makeshift grave that they did,
Mm-hmm.
You feel the tingling of magic inside of you start pulling you towards the grave.
Okay.
Almost like something you're being called to do something.
I kind of just follow that pulling. I'm starting to learn that I need to trust my instincts and not resist
Okay.
strange feelings.
So you walk up to the grave and you set your hands on the grave and close your eyes. And after a moment, and you, while your eyes are closed, you hear like can't quite make out what all of them are saying, but they're definitely in shock of what they're witnessing. And after a moment, you open your eyes, and the grave is now covered in an accumulation of tiny mushrooms and moss. And on top of the grave is a tiny little rosebud starting to sprout.
Directly from the moss. Just kind of smile. Feels comforting in a way, I guess. Never expected to have so many mushrooms start popping up around me, but here we are.
And after a little bit, Rictal comes up to you. What'd you do?
I seem to have a deeper connection to things that have spores, things like moss and mushrooms. I feel like I'm supposed to be a part of the natural cycle of life, and I suppose a part of that deals with death. I've seen older graves be grown over like this before, but not as fast and not as drastically.
What's that growing out of the top? I've never seen that.
That little flower? It's a rose. These petals that stick to me, they're rose petals.
Oh, I see the resemblance.
That's the young version of the flower. It's not opened yet. And, well, typically they grow on bushes and thorny vine type plants. And they don't usually grow just one flower out at a time. So this is pretty special, I think. I think maybe it's a way of honoring your friend. He was brave.
That he was. Well, me and my men are ready.
Well, I think it's about time we get going.
We can head to the cave and probably make camp there for the evening.
Sounds good. Well, lead the way.
So, Rictal leaves you, and we'll say after... It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon when you guys leave. And it takes a good 4 or 5 hours overall to get to this cave. And you know, and amongst your travels you see a few large and huge and even some giant dinosaurs, but Rictal reassures you because they're herbivores and they don't hunt.
I apologize for my ignorance about these creatures. They're mostly ancient history where I come from. There's occasionally you'll get someone who's brought one back in some way, or someone who's brought one over from a realm where they're not extinct yet, but still a bit confused about them because to me most of them look pretty dangerous. Even those herbivores seem to have some good weapons on them.
Oh, they are prey after all. Mm-hmm. They need a way to defend themselves.
Of course.
Quite often the ones that look the most dangerous, like Trike, for example. Those horns makes you think he's mean. That big, wide, armored, plated head. But in all reality, that armor protects his neck. And those horns are there for if the dinosaur predator to go after him, he has basically easy access to stab them.
I did notice that the pteranodons look a lot less dangerous than they actually are. I mean, they
But
look almost comical sometimes with...
they have a beak. They don't even look like they have teeth. It looks like almost...
Not till they open their beak.
Right.
But... Yeah, I see what you mean. Well, if you don't mind pointing out which ones are safe, so I can learn.
So, towards the end of the journey towards the cave, Richtel reassures you he will. You start to notice that the herbivores are getting sparser. Less and less of them. You have a feeling you're getting really close to the cave because you haven't seen one for a while.
Okay.
Roll a perception check. And I need the monster manual. Or maybe I don't, actually. Hold on.
15?
You feel and almost hear a thud on the ground, like a vibration coming through the ground.
Like a tremor.
Yeah, a tremor. Thank you. That's the word I needed. Just do, do. And it starts progressively increasing in tempo.
Richtel?
I feel it.
What is it?
And about that time, out of the brush behind you where you guys have been traveling, a large raptor, starts charging towards you. Richtel yells out, "Run! The cave's up ahead!"
I am going to run whichever direction he pointed.
So you guys start booking it towards the cave, and this thing is closing, and it is closing fast. And unfortunately, you see the cave opening and you think you're safe, and you and you guys think you're about there and gonna get inside the cave, and one of the men fall behind and trips on like a stone.
Do I hear that?
You hear a "ooh," and right as that happens, the Allosaurus takes a moment of opportunity and pounces on him and begins to eat. And basically bites his head off. He is dead instantaneously. And begins to feed, and for a moment of time it is distracted. Richtel looks at you. Inside the cave.
I'm going to face step my way.
So you run towards the cave entrance. Richtel kind of now behind you with the men trying to put themselves between you and this large dinosaur. And as you approach the cave, you hear a loud roar emit from the cave.
Shit.
The cave entrance is big enough for you guys to get through easily, but this raptor will struggle.
But there's noise coming from inside the cave.
Yeah, echoed.
Like echoed out of the cave.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You get to the cave entrance, and Richtol looks at you and says, "Go, quick. Retrieve the wine."
I guess I'm gonna run in there and try to grab some wine.
And as you begin to go down this tunnel, you see that Richtol and his men have basically tunneled, basically funneled this beast. And they are now, like, one of them is kind of like standing guard, poking at it with some spears, trying to keep it back, while the others are starting to battle, like, point blank fucking range into this thing.
Shit. God, I want to help, but he told me to get the wine.
Uh-huh.
Fuck. What's the wine in?
Said get a keg of wine.
Get a keg of wine?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna grab one and...
You haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it
You're
yet.
still going down the tunnel.
Gotcha.
So this tunnel goes, and you can hear them behind you, and after about 100 feet, it's getting really dark in there. Like, you're struggling to see. You can tell that it goes ahead, but it looks pitch black.
Is there any, like, torches on the walls?
Nope.
Do I have a torch in my pack?
Nope.
Oh, fuck.
And as you sit there and think to yourself, and you take a deep breath in, and like, how can I see? And you take a longer blink. You notice that you can see the Lifelight.
With my eyes closed.
Yup.
Does
Out of
it-
game, essentially you have blind sight 30 feet with your eyes closed.
Gotcha.
Only on this plane.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I am gonna close my eyes and carefully
So
keep going.
when you close your eyes and give them a moment to adjust, you realize it's actually easier for you to see in this cave than it was the entire time since you've been going down this tunnel. You can make out where crevices are. It is the best way I can relate it. Imagine Neo Vision. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of
Yeah.
when you started describing
Yeah,
it, except it's not zeros and ones
No,
streaming.
it's like a iridescent blue, tiny little veins.
Do you mean iridescent or phosphorescent?
Phosphorescent? Sorry, phosphorescent blue, tiny little veins. Okay. So, and as you make your way further into the cave, you hear another roar. This time, it's much louder. And you look ahead and notice a bend in the tunnel, and can tell that that sound is emitting very close from around that corner.
Alright. I think I'm gonna go ahead and quietly whisper Shillelagh.
Okay.
And, yeah, I'm gonna keep going around this corner,
Okay.
I guess.
So I assume you go up to the corner, try to peek around, see what's going on. Okay, when you peek around the corner, the sight before you is not what you expected. You see a few flying snakes. They're snakes, but they have wings and they're flying. Surrounding this, the best you can make it, a large cat with rather large fangs. However, there's something off about this. You start noticing that it's not fur it's covered in. It's moss. Its ears look like little mushrooms.
How far away is it?
It is like roughly when you peek around, you're looking into an open cavern, like that's probably about 40 to 50 feet in diameter. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's iridescent blue in there. Like you haven't opened your eyes, but it's okay. And you can kind of see behind that beast.
You said I have basically blind sight for 30 feet.
Yeah, you can faintly make out that there is more behind him.
Okay.
The cavern, you can tell as you peek in from side to side that it's about 40-50 feet around, but you can't see how far back it goes. But basically out there in the open is this, for now I'll call it a saber-toothed tiger, but it's not a saber. No, and he's surrounded by 4 flying snakes.
Do the snakes look like they're like harassing?
Oh yeah, they're attacking him. He does not look in good shape. He looks like he is like, yeah.
Well, in that case, why did I not put a range down on that? Oh, there it is. Okay. So, I am going to get closer. Wrap my cloak of elven kind.
Mm-hmm. They're distracted, so you have a surprise round.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna go... I'm gonna go try to get within 30 feet.
Okay, so basically pop around the corner and get within range of something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright.
And then I'm going to reach deep down inside me and use a power that I feel in there. I have the sense that I have more abilities to deal with non-humans than I did before, non-humanoids, and going to cast a spell.
What spell? I can't.
Animal friendship.
On?
The cat.
Okay. You do. It only makes a roll if it's hostile. It's not hostile towards you.
Okay.
Like, you see the spell just overtake it just fine. And when it feels the magic go over it, it looks at you and makes eye contact with you. And you get a sense of help.
Basically, it's charmed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it will go right after your initiative.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know it probably can't understand me language-wise too well, but I point up at the flying snakes and attempt to indicate through gestures that I will help them help the cat, not them the snakes, them the cat. And I need to roll initiative, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Because I'm sure they have noticed me by now.
Yeah, that magic was kind of noticeable.
$18.
Huh?
18.
18. You go first.
Okay. They're flying up in the air.
Yep, and they are like lunging and biting at this big cat, and it is kind of quivering and whimpering.
I'm going to hold out my staff and will forth the rose petal swarm.
So you hold out and extend your staff, and there's a bloom of petals that come off of it and bolt towards one of the snakes, and happens to be that you need to make 2 attack rolls.
2 attack rolls?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At 6. So 9 and 20.
The 20 hits as the swarm engulfs 2 of these tiny creatures. And roll damage for 1.
That is a D8.
Nope.
No.
4 die 4.
4 die 4. That's
For
right.
your swarm.
4 die 4 for the swarm. Oh no. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my god. I got all 3s.
So 4 3s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the one that hits, it gets shredded into pieces. Literally, you see like multiple pieces fall to the ground.
Ouch. It just got shredded.
Yep. Next is the big cat. What do you want to direct the big cat to do?
Is it like big enough to make a swipe at some of them that are like?
Oh yeah,
okay.
it's a large beast.
All right, I'm gonna touch that kind of little quasi-mind link I have with it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna gesture upwards towards the snakes, the flying snakes, and like make a
Gotcha.
swiping motion.
Okay. So, you need to roll 3d20s.
3d20.
Yes. Actually, 2. Sorry, not 3. 2.
Okay. 25 and 9.
The 25 hits. So it swipes at one.
Mm-hmm.
And you just see it fly across to the side of the cavern. And as you look, you start noticing that there are bodies of flying snakes around.
Do they look like they got by the cat?
Mm-hmm.
So this poor cat's been just getting attacked by a swarm of these things. Alright.
There are 2 left.
Mm-hmm.
And it is their turn. The one left in the swarm bolts towards you. And flies towards you and bites as it goes by.
Shit.
Like it swoops in, bites at you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What's your AC again? 17, right?
12?
No. Are you wearing the leather armor and
Oh.
strap buckler?
Yeah.
So 17. It doesn't matter. It hits. And as it bites you, you take 1 piercing damage plus 7 poison.
How much?
8.
8 piercing damage total?
No, 8.
Or 8 damage total. Sorry, 8 damage total.
Yes.
Shit.
And you realize after getting hit and struck by this one why this big cat is having difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
It is the other one's going to swipe at or bite at the saber tooth and hits. And
Did it come within 10? It came within 10 feet of me.
which one?
The one that bit me.
Yeah, it did. So we're gonna back up before it hit you, because you're new to this.
I had some kind of reaction I could use.
Yep. Here's yours.
Mm-hmm. Alright. So as it's swiping through my space and biting me. Or what I don't expect to negate the biting.
No, it's still gonna hit you.
Uh-huh.
However, as it's flying away.
As it's flying away,
What?
I become enraged. And
Okay.
I'm going to
Here's your reaction.
will all these fucking spores that are invisibly
Yep.
surrounding me, but I can feel,
To deal 1d4 necrotic damage.
to attack this thing that just entered my personal bubble.
So it has to make a con save, huh? Yeah, Tink, you totally fucked me up because you got up. Could have just stayed sitting there and it would have been fine.
Right?
No.
It does not make it?
No.
Cool. Three necrotic damage.
Okay. It flies back and is about 15 feet away from you.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, of course, hit the big cat, and it is now your turn.
Alright.
The cat is not looking good.
How many critters are there left?
2.
2?
There is one that is next to the cat, and your swarm is close to that one.
My
Your petal
swarm.
And then there is one right in front of you, about 15 feet away.
Oh, I guess I'm going to use the petal swarm to, like, attack the one it's near.
Roll an attack.
Ouch. 10.
Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was your bonus action.
That was a bonus action?
Yep.
Alright.
Take a 5-foot step forward, use your reaction.
Yeah, true.
Then you still have your attack.
Yeah, I'm just gonna charge forward 5 feet.
Okay.
And, Ooh, wait a second. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. But so it's when a creature you can see moves into a space within 10 feet of you or starts its turn there.
And if it moving within 10 feet of you into a space within 10 feet of you is you moving within 10 feet.
So it's just a bubble of evil that follows me. That's awesome.
Yep,
Okay.
that you can control. So, let me make a con save. No. By the way, the snake that flew through your spore cloud is not looking that good.
Not looking that good.
Struggling to even stay afloat.
Does Misty Step mean you have to like appear on the ground? Or just literally anywhere you can...
An unoccupied space.
Technically, if I'm willing to fall. At some point I want to be able to walk on walls. That'd make that very useful. Alright. I guess this time I'm probably just gonna, charge up 5 feet ahead of me, so I'm 10 feet away.
Using your reaction?
Doesn't the reaction have to happen after something happens?
Nope.
No?
Your reaction is you reacting to something. A reaction can be taken anywhere in the round on anyone's turn.
Okay. Oh, okay.
The reaction is the one and only thing that can be taken during the round at any point.
You just can't react.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. You get one reaction per round.
Okay. I'm gonna charge up probably closer than 5 feet.
Okay.
And as I find myself very close to this thing that just bit me, I'm going to unleash the fury of these invisible spores again.
Okay. As you run by, don't even worry about it. As you run by, the spore cloud engulfs the flying snake and it just falls to the ground.
Okay.
So you still have movement and you are able to reach the other flying snake.
Alright. Is it not like flying way up too high in the air for me to get to?
It's still down trying to attack the...
Oh, I didn't know if it was flying above it or not.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna run over and how close is it to the cat though?
Fairly close.
Alright, I'm gonna try to run up and catch this fucking
Flying snake
in my cloud. Is it like
your cloud? You won't get to use your cloud again.
not this turn?
No.
It's gonna start its turn in that space.
Yep, but you still have an attack.
That's right. Alright, so I'm just gonna move up close.
Your options right now are you could charge up and swing with your staff.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could try to
it is close enough for me to shovel it. Alright.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna rush up then and
roll
fucking
an attack.
Bop it. Ooh. Yes, that hits.
What'd you roll?
18 plus 6.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, roll damage.
And that is a 1d8.
Correct.
Because I got Shilakun.
Yes.
So 5 and then
4.
plus 4, so 9.
You
bop this thing on the head.
You charge up with your staff overhead and you just slam it down on top of this snake and it just... And as it hits the ground, you just kind of hear the squishing and the body expanding because you hit it with such force.
Dang.
When the last snake falls, this big cat looks at you and, with a questionable look, kind of guarding the, backside of it that you haven't seen.
It is charmed by me, so
I know.
It
It's-
knows that I mean it no harm.
It knows that, but you do
It's-
not know what state it's in.
Mm-hmm. Well, how bad is this cat looking?
Pretty bad.
Alright.
Like, now that everything's calmed down, it's starting to lay down and lick its wounds, and you notice it coiling back away from you, licking a wound on the backside that you can't really see because you haven't seen it.
I'm gonna reach for some magic again. And gingerly approach this cat. Try not to surprise it.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my hand on it. And I am going to softly mutter a few words and cast Cure Wounds.
Okay. Roll.
1d8. 11.
Okay. It seems to be okay with you touching it, and it, kind of starts purring a little bit, but still not looking too good.
Still not looking too good.
Yeah, after you cast Cure Wounds on it, it turns towards you, and you can now see the wound it was licking. And on its back hind quarters, you see 3 gaping gashes. And out of them, it's not blood. It looks more closer to sap oozing out of the wounds.
I want to try Druid Crafting.
Okay. What are you trying to attempt with Druid Craft?
This creature seems to be kind of plant-based. So, gonna see if I can, try to get the edges of that wound to start growing closed a bit.
Okay. So you begin to grasp Druid Craft and focus on the wound and one of the gashes, and as you begin to cast your spell, you start noticing that the moss is indeed starting to close, but you can see at this rate it is going to take you a good 5 minutes straight of casting Druid Craft to close these wounds.
Alright. So, what's the cat doing?
It's like while you're doing this, it kind of like nuzzling at your hands a little bit, occasionally licking your hands because it's realizing what you're doing.
Okay, so it's not upset at this.
No, it's actually after you get the first wound closed up, it kind of nuzzles you a little bit.
How badly is it looking hurt from the other 2 wounds?
They're still oozing sap.
Okay.
It's going to take a full 5 minutes of doing this.
Shit.
While you're casting Druid Craft, and as you just finish up the first wound, you hear one of the hunting party scream.
Alright. Is the wine in here?
Hmm?
Is the wine in here? I'm gonna look around for that wine.
Are your eyes open? You never declared your eyes were open.
No.
Okay. You can see what looks to be like the Lifelight veins kind of in a pile towards the back of the cavern.
Okay. Gonna hold my hand up to the cat real quick and try to, like, gesture to stay here.
Okay.
And we're gonna open my eyes.
As you open your eyes, you first see this cat, and now you can make out the very, very fine details and the color, because the cavern is lit up. You can see the whole cavern.
Okay.
In the back of the cavern, there's basically some kegs stacked, you know, kind of curing. And in front of you is this big old cat. Indeed, its fur is moss. The moss is, however, rose-colored. And basically, yeah, it looks like it's made out of plants and spores, and you can't quite tell.
Alright. So I'm gonna, like...
Where's your staff?
In my hand.
In your hand? Okay. So, what are you doing now? One wound is closed. You just heard one of the hunting party scream out, which, best you can tell, that was someone dying.
I'm gonna, like, try to head over towards those kegs and, like, start rolling one.
Rolling. Okay. So the cat follows you and stays on the side that next to the side, which is in the hand that you are holding your staff.
Okay. Well, I need to get this keg out there. I'm assuming it's like an actual, like, big barrel keg.
Yeah, it's a big barrel keg, and so the cat sees what you're doing, and it comes over and kneels next to the keg, like lays down right next to it, and just looks at you.
How big is this keg?
The keg is stands probably about 3 feet tall, about 1.5 feet in diameter, about this tall. It weighs a good
lot.
like 150, 200 pounds.
How big's this cat?
Large.
Large. Alright, so I'm gonna kind of try to mime picking the keg up in its mouth.
It cannot pick the keg up in its mouth.
It can't?
No.
Okay, you said it was large. I don't know, but...
It is large, but like just because it's large doesn't mean its mouth itself is large.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, if it had a large-sized mouth, like equivalent to a 10 by 10, yeah, I could easily pick this keg up with its mouth.
Alright. I'm gonna try to, I guess, heft it up on here.
On top of him?
Mm-hmm.
So as you go to the other side and begin to try to heft the keg up, and you're struggling for a few moments, you begin to see underneath the bottom of the keg that there are vines beginning to wrap around the keg and actually assist you lifting it onto the cat. And these vines, once the keg is up there, you notice, are coming out of the cat, growing out of the moss.
Just kind of gonna touch that gently, examine it for like literally a split second and be like, ooh, okay, this is cool. Come back and look at this later. And I'm gonna grab those vines. I'm gonna heft myself up on top of this cat.
So you kind of like hop on top towards the shoulders in front of the keg. And as you sit on top of the cat, more vines begin to grow out of the cat and wrap around your legs and waste.
Alright. Gonna hold the mossy fur in one hand and my staff in the other and kind of go!
Okay, so you start making your way towards the entrance of the cavern, back down towards the tunnel, and as you get to the entrance of the cavern, you hear a very loud roar from that dinosaur that fades off. You look around the cavern, it's about 100 feet down, and you can make out 2 figures standing there. Gonna make your way down?
Mm-hmm.
So as you approach closer to the entrance, you notice that the dinosaur is dead in front of the cavern.
Okay.
In front of the cave entrance. Richtel is there, kind of kneeling down, catching his breath. He's not looking good.
Mm-hmm.
The one guy that's standing, he's missing his left arm and like kind of grasping where his arm was, and basically just trying to stop the bleeding. And the other 3 comrades are, well, there's pieces of them around.
Alright. I'm gonna hop on down from this cat and
As soon as you think of getting off the cat, the vines begin to unwind and ravel, letting you off the cat.
Okay. Well, I have to look at this more later. Yeah, I'm gonna go over to that guy that's missing his arm.
Okay. As you're approaching, like, in my pouch, there's the ointment.
Ah, okay. I go wrestling through his pouch.
Grab the ointment, I assume, rub some of the ointment on the... Okay, as soon as you rub it on him, the wound, like, almost instantaneously, like, scars over. Bleeding stops. He's fine. Missing an arm, but good thing it wasn't that lateral arm.
Lucky.
Yeah. So, but they kind of look a little worse for wear. As you're addressing this guy's wound, you see Richtel pull out the familiar jar and take a couple doses of the ointment. And he looks at you and he's like, "What the hell is that?"
I'm not really sure. I found it back in the cave where the wine was, being attacked.
It's not attacking you?
No, it didn't really seem hostile, and I cast a spell, which I think gave me a little bit better of a bond with it.
What's the duration of it?
24 hours.
Oh, never mind then. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Well,
It's hurt too. I was in the process of trying to get it able to move safely.
do you think if, do you have a way to heal it?
From what I can tell, it's plant-based enough that my basic abilities are able to help mend the wound, help it grow over.
Well, I know I said we should rest out here, but I don't think we're in any state. If something were to attack in the middle of the night, we are not okay.
This is true. Do we need to get going right now, or do we have a minute for a rest?
Let's take a moment, catch our breath. You focus on if you can heal that thing. Maybe we could have it carry us all.
I think that would be a good idea. You guys look like you could use a rest. Well, we get to work tending these wounds. Don't want it being injured while trying to carry us.
So you take another 10-15 minutes.
You said it would take 5 minutes to close all of them.
To close the 3 gashes.
Oh.
Take another 10-15 minutes. Casting Druid Craft. Healing anywhere from between 1 to 4 hit points per cast.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will say it's closer to 10 minutes. Okay. And assume you exiting the cave and.
Yeah, we're sitting out there so we can be on guard and not get caught by surprise.
And so when you guys are getting ready to leave, do you get on the cat again?
Yeah, I'm gonna reach up and touch it and kind of motion like I would like to ride it again.
It kneels down, gives you its shoulder.
I jump up quickly, softly. I'm assuming the vines are...
Mm-hmm. They wrap around you.
Well, I pat the cat right where I'm sitting and kind of point at the other 2 people, and then like pat behind me.
When you do that, you start feeling your legs slightly spread further apart, and you look down and you notice that this cat is beginning to grow. Not huge, but on the larger side of large now. Able to carry you and the 2 comrades that you have.
And the wine.
And the wine.
Okay.
And so you all mount up, the vines wrap around their legs, and it takes off. And the best you can tell, you feel like you're moving at like such a fast speed. It's almost like you're jumping from bush to bush. Plant to plant, tree to tree. And about an hour goes by, and you can see the village off in the distance. It is currently around, after all that, and getting close to like 6, getting dusk.
Alright.
But you guys make it back to the village.
As we get closer to the village, I'm going to try to signal to it to slow down.
Okay. It starts to slow down. As you approach, you see Kyo, like, out on the edge of the village, because, like, everybody saw you coming. Like, you're riding a very large cat coming towards the village. Like, it's gathering. And when you get close enough, you see Kyo step behind the crowd and step into a portal and dimension away.
The fuck? Okay.
And you arrive in the village, and all the villagers are looking at you like ooh and ah, like what's going on, and you get in there, and Rickdol and his one member of his hunting party, who is now handicapped, they help him get off the big cat, and you basically, they're all like looking at this cat. Like you're kind of surrounded. You can't really move right now. You don't want to be rude.
Just try to pet the cat to make sure it knows it's okay.
So, and yeah, after a few moments, the crowd kind of disperses a little bit, and you're currently in the village. What are you gonna do?
I'll probably turn around and touch the vines that are holding the keg on the cat, I'm assuming.
The vines very elegantly pick up the keg and gently set it on the ground and retract back into the cat.
And then I'm going to dismount.
Okay.
And switch my staff to the other hand and hold the cat's fur with one hand, kind of reassuring it. Try to start moving forward into the village.
Yeah, you can. Oh, the crowd dispersed. I said that.
Okay.
So you can move now. Yeah, you can move. If you can empty the keg off of you, you can move. So the keg is like the size of like 2 of the children. So.
Was everyone gone before I got the keg down?
They were still there, but
right.
they weren't like
I just assumed
routing you.
I just assumed they'll know where to put the freaking keg.
Yeah, as soon as you get it unloaded, some villagers like take it back to like the fire pit. And...
Okay. All right. Well, probably gonna go try to get something to eat real quick.
Okay. As you approach the main hut to walk around, exiting the hut is Chief Nola and Keo next to her side.
I raise my staff. Keo, you
do you have a moment? Me and Nola need to speak with you.
Yes. What do I do with this guy here?
He'll be fine.
Okay. Turn to this cat and like pet it just a bit and like
purrs a little bit and
put my hand up, stay.
It have to squat. Just
follow Keo and Nola.
They lead you into the big hut, and they lead you back behind the chief's chair into what you couldn't tell was a room. And what best you can tell, it's the chief's actual personal quarters. So, and they, lead you back into there, and Nola looks at you. Have a seat, please. We're going to pause and go have a smoke.
Yep.
So, you're sitting back in the chief's quarters, and Keo approaches you, and he's not even eye level still, with you sitting down. I had my hunches when you first came to the village. I thought I recognized that staff.
Look over at my staff I'm still holding.
When you arrived in the village just now, on that beast, they confirmed it. Noah, do you have the item? Noah gets up, goes over, lifts up this quilt. Under it is this very ornate looking chest with 5 locks on it. She takes her ring, pushes it into the locks in a sequence. You hear them open. She lifts it up, pulls out a box, comes over to you and sets it in your lap. This belongs to you.
Okay. Gonna hook my arm around my staff and
Open the box.
Mm-hmm.
You lift the lid, and inside the box is a tea kettle.
What is this for?
All I know is it belongs to you. You need to accompany Kyo to his hut. He has more information to give you.
Okay. Well, thank you. I don't quite know how this is mine, but thank you. And I suppose thank you for keeping it safe.
Return to me before you bed down for the evening.
I will make sure to.
Kyo's now waiting over at the entrance to her room.
Alright. I'm gonna stand up, hold the box.
And he begins to walk. And for a 2-foot tall being, he is moving really fast. With haste. You're having trouble keeping up with him right now. He seems very eager.
Alright. I'm gonna try to keep up as best I can.
So he leads you to his hut. Leaves the door open so you can go inside.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time you've been in his hut when you haven't been distracted or and now you're looking around and you notice on the wall a huge tapestry of what looks to be the world. You recognize it from your vision.
Mm-hmm.
As well as a bunch of various trinkets, potion bottles, kind of an alchemy setup. Can tell that he is more than just a shaman.
I close the door behind me.
He gestures to you to have a seat.
I do. I set the box in my lap.
As you go sit down and whatnot, he starts rummaging through some piles of scrolls. He's like, I know it was here somewhere. I just had it yesterday. Ah, there it is. And you see this very ancient looking scroll case. And he walks over to you. And he's like, so have you looked at your teapot yet?
I only got a quick glance at it before...
Can I see it, please?
Yes, of course. And I lift it out of the box.
As you lift it out of the box and hand it over to him, you hear a rattle in the tea kettle. Can I see your staff, please?
I hesitantly hold it out.
As he reaches to grab it, the thorns move out of the way, and he can grab it easily.
I release my grip on it a little less hesitantly.
As I've told you, I'm old.
Yes.
As old as this world.
How is that possible?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
He sets the kettle on the desk and opens it up and reaches inside and grabs a shiny object, and as you catch a glimpse of it, you recognize that it is the center of that man's pendant that you saw in a vision when you first came to this world. He holds it up and holds out your staff. Closes his eyes, begins to meditate. And you see vines extend from the staff and begin to coil and reach out and wrap around that piece of metal. Pulls it out of his hand, pulls it back to the surface of the staff, and it melts into the staff.
Kind of just watching all this
There.
very intently.
This should help. Hands you the staff back.
Take it.
As you grab your staff, you begin to feel a very strong magical tingling emitting from your staff where your hand is touching. A moment later, you're looking at your hand, and moss is beginning to grow down your arm rather quickly and begins to engulf your whole body.
What's happening?
Be patient.
I take a deep breath. Let it out.
As you get engulfed by this moss, it covers your vision. Then you feel it almost seep into your skin as your head is revealed again and can see. And the moss hardens.
Gonna
And it is now currently very hard for you to move with this hardened moss and a suit of leather armor, because the moss is under the armor.
Noticing how hard it is to move, I'm probably gonna panic a little. Start trying to...
Kyo looks at you. What are you waiting for? Take off that leather.
I'm trying to do here.
He comes over and helps you, and you guys get the armor off, and you can move like you were wearing clothing now.
Probably slightly restrictive clothing.
At first, yes, but as moment by moment, the longer that this moss is on you, it's almost you feel like it's anticipating your movement. Now.
That's interesting.
And while you
tap my arm a little bit,
when you tap it and the pressure hits the armor, what was somewhat soft and malleable becomes hard as steel.
Neat. Does it like still look like moss? Like I'm covered in just like a layer of moss other than my face?
You also notice that the moss has been changing colors throughout this time, a myriad of colors as you were going through a myriad of emotions.
Noticing that, I'm gonna want to try to experiment with that for just a second. I'm gonna think of that vision I had just before I came to this realm.
You notice that the moss starts fluctuating between a blue, a green, and a purple, with silver streams flowing through it.
Huh.
So while you're doing all this, as you're like coming to like not distracted anymore by what just happened, you realize that Kyo is over there, very gently pulling this scroll out, very gently laying it out. Are you done?
Yeah.
I want you to see something.
I come stand beside
As
him.
you look at this parchment, it's about 2 by 3 feet, and on it is a very, very old painting. There is a humanoid figure, a dryad, standing there, holding your staff.
Does it look exactly the same as it is now, or like it was before it turned into an atlatl staff?
It turns into an atlatl when you're getting ready to use it as an atlatl.
Oh, so the rest of the time... Okay.
Yeah.
Or if I'm going to be using it to bonk someone.
It morphs for what the use you are using it for.
Gotcha.
You have no idea what it can do.
Okay.
Yeah, you have no fucking
I don't.
idea.
Alright.
So,
Wait.
also,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not done.
Okay.
You also recognize another figure in the painting. Looks very similar to that cat you just met.
What is this, Kyo?
This is the guardian of this realm. This is you in your previous life.
I mean, I know of reincarnation being a thing, but... I mean, growing up in the Feywild, I don't quite get the same access to memory as many of my elven brethren do.
I don't expect you to have the memories, because you do not have your amulet in full.
What amulet?
That piece that got absorbed into the staff is one of 7 pieces.
And this pendant, once restored, will help me regain memories
of your previous lives.
Okay.
This dryad created me and the other guardians of this realm.
So, in a sense, you already know me.
Yes.
What do you mean created?
We come from the planet. I grew from the planet. She, them, you grew me, as well as the other guardians. You created this realm.
I created a whole realm that doesn't make sense. I'm in this form now, and I'm not an Archfey. How would I possibly have the ability to...
Because you are more than an Archfey.
That's, it's a lot to digest. That's...
You are a universal power in mortal form.
And what does that mean for me in the near future? What am I supposed to do with that?
I'm sure the answers will come. Right now, you need to focus on retrieving the rest of your mantle.
Do you know where the pieces are? You knew where this one was.
Because I am the guardian of this piece.
Okay. You said travel was very dangerous for people like us, and
that was before I knew who you were. I will speak with the chief if... well, sorry, let me retract that. I have already spoken with the chief. You are able to travel.
I don't know what to do. I never really was prepared to take on the kind of responsibility that comes with being so powerful. I have the ability to be so powerful. I kind of just expected to live kind of a relatively quiet life. Feywild's never totally quiet, but...
Well, it sounds like to me that you need to take the rest of the evening, process this new information. I will look through the information I have and see if I can find even a hint of where another piece would be.
Would be very appreciated. It's a big world, and can use all the help I could get, I suppose. You say this teapot's mine.
Yes.
I love tea. I already have my own little travel teapot. What's the deal with this one? I mean, it must be important.
Oh, it's been forever since I've had tea from that kettle. From what I remember, depending on what herbs you put inside, or fungus, that was one of the better ones that they made that one night, has certain effects or properties that it will bestow upon you.
So it changes how the tea affects you.
Yes.
Okay.
There is another cool thing about it, one of my personal favorites.
Oh?
So he reaches for the kettle, and you didn't quite notice this before, but on one of the sides there's a little door that slides, and he pulls out a cup, and then another cup, then another cup, and then a final and fourth cup.
What do these cups look like?
So the kettle and the cups themselves, they look like they're made out of basically the same type of stuff that your staff is made out of, the cat is made out of.
So it looks like it's made out of plants.
Yep.
Mostly moss and lichen and mushrooms. Okay.
Some vines wrapping around the kettle and the cups.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like those help hold everything together.
Alright. I'll watch him pull these out.
So,
Kind of like look inside the pot.
and the other cool thing, he goes over and grabs a pitcher of water, opens up the lid, pours the water in. As soon as the water hits, it's starting to steam.
That's very convenient. No more pesky having to make a fire just to have a cup of tea. Alright, well, let's make you a pot of tea then.
What kind?
Well, I mean, all I have on me right now is the rose petals.
Ooh, I have something. Runs over to his alchemy setup. Starts shuffling through these little tiny drawers. Perfect. He's holding up a single mushroom. Here you go.
Take it from him and look at it real quick.
You don't recognize this mushroom.
Okay.
It's so the cap is like a cobalt blue, the underside is a purple,
Mm-hmm.
and the stem is a pink with white streaks going through it.
It's a very beautiful specimen. Huh?
I've been saving this one for a long time.
Well, it's about time you had some. I just reach over and drop it in the pot.
About a minute goes by and you realize that it smells like it's done.
Oh, that was quick. Does it always go that quick?
Seems to.
That is highly convenient. Okay, well. Why don't you sit down? I'll pour us some tea then.
And you pour the tea in. As you pour it, it's steaming hot.
Mm-hmm.
And when you pick up your cup and go to take a drink, it's perfect drinking temperature. Like, how did it cool down that fast?
I take a little sip and hold it in my mouth to taste it.
Whereas that time Keo takes a sip too, and you hear him go, too long. And imagine a mixture of a fruit and truffle. with just a hint of citrus.
That is exquisite, Kyo. What is it?
Oh, it's been so long I can't remember the name of the mushroom. You'll remember one day, I'm sure. And, all I do know is, it's very, very relaxing. You indeed do start to feel a sense of wave of relaxation and carefreeness. And your moss armor begins to fluctuate in more calming, mellow colors to match your mood. And you feel like right now you could actually close your eyes and go to sleep.
I certainly could use this after the day I've had, for sure. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing such a treasure with me. I know it can be hard to finally use up some of that special treat you've been holding on to for so long.
Well, I do expect you to bring me more. You'll remember where they are one day. They never did divulge the information to me. It was like their own special secret.
Well, I will make sure to bring some back for you. It would be my honor.
So, yeah. You can sit there and talk to him for a bit if you want. Go back to your quarters and rest. What would you like to do?
Gonna finish drinking this tea. Sit there and chat with him and tell him what happened.
He starts letting you know that, like, well, after that, he, starts giving you a bit of information, little bits that he can recall about your previous self. Obviously, Dryad. Very, very, very fierce warrior. Like, you created this realm, and it was kind of a safe haven for you or any species that you felt needed to be preserved.
Is it a fucking arc?
Did you ask that in game?
No, let me... So... this whole realm is sort of a lifeboat?
I guess in a way you could say that.
Or a sanctuary?
Closer to that. However, the sanctuariness of it has been gone for a while now. But I have a feeling that's about to change.
What happened to make it not as safe here?
You disappeared.
Where did I go?
Roughly about 5,000 years ago, when you created this realm, this sanctuary. About 100 years after its creation, you, after bringing species of animals here, primarily dinosaurs. I don't know what was with you and the dinosaurs back then, but gotten a little out of hand.
Obviously.
And you left on with a few other comrades. I can't recall their names now, but you left to do something very important, as you described it. It was to save existence. I just thought you were being a drama queen.
Kind of snort into my tea as I'm taking a sip there.
Because, well, honestly, like, everything was fine in our realm. It was peaceful. Everything had a balance. Lived synergistically.
The illness wasn't present then?
No. I assume you're talking about the one that affects the age.
Yes.
No. Your disappearance caused chaos to ensue about 1,000 years after you didn't come back.
Do you think just by being here that will help restore this balance?
Your presence in this realm again has already helped.
Oh.
Rickdal told me about the rosebud. I haven't heard or seen a rosebud in over 4,000 years.
So they were here at one point, but you didn't recognize them.
Forgot what they looked like. I recognized the petals that were in your hair. He quickly goes over to his desk, pulls out a box of the petal from your hair and a box of the petal from the staff, and 2 other boxes. 2 other petals that looked exactly the fucking same.
Where did those come from?
You,
Before?
before you left.
How are they still so well preserved?
I don't know.
You didn't do anything to them.
I put them in this box when you gave them to me before you left. When you gave me the 2 petals, you said this will be the first sign of my return. It's almost like you knew you were going to go away.
I wonder what I was doing.
I don't know. I've never left this realm. And you were quite secretive.
Are you able to leave this realm?
I've never tried. When you created me, you told me my purpose was to be a guardian of this realm in the absence of your presence. Me and I guess you could call them my siblings that you created.
Do your siblings look like you? Like,
Yes.
so they'll be easy enough to recognize, I suppose.
Yes.
Because, well, I don't know what other peoples are in this world, but so far around here, you do look very distinct from the others.
As you're finishing your cup of tea, Keo, see you. Well, I believe Noah wanted to speak with you.
Yes. I suppose I should head back on over there. Me. Put all this away then.
You'll be leaving again tomorrow, I'm sure.
I will?
Yes.
On another hunt?
Not exactly. You will be taking some people with you, though. You need to go harvest that thing that killed off so many men. That is a rare, rare kill around here, and the materials from that are beneficial.
Okay.
And so far from what I've heard of your capability to hold your own in combat, you're going so you can protect them.
Okay. I will make that my duty.
Well, you have a good evening. Get some rest.
You as well, Keo.
As you exit Keo's hut, the cat is literally sitting outside the door,
Kind of stop in my tracks and
looking right at you as you come out.
look at it. Hi.
You hear in your head, "Hi."
What? How?
You seem a little bit more like yourself now.
I learned some things about myself, apparently.
I thought it was you when I saw you in the cave. I'm glad you're back.
I reach up and pet it between the eyes.
You hear this very deep and feel it vibrate throughout your body, purr, emanate from it. Like, almost like you left your pet for weeks and came back.
Just kind of smile. And, well, gonna head back to town and get something to eat while I finish up some business.
Sure. So you head back to the village, to the main hut, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You notice that your animal companion is feeding on, well, plants. Like a little bit of grass here and there, the occasional flower.
Cat stopping to munch a flower. Kind of chuckle. Yeah, guess you're pretty easy to feed then, huh?
Mm-hmm. Keeps eating away.
I'll make sure you always have something to nibble on then.
And you notice where those gashes were before?
Mm-hmm.
That you, like, Druid craft clothes? I mean, you could tell it was a little off color and whatnot. Looks fine now. Like it never happened.
Looks like you're feeling better.
Much.
Good.
So do you go inside the
Yep.
big hut?
Yep.
Okay.
Wait out here.
You go in there, you see some familiar faces that look older now, taller. You see some new faces. And couple of the villagers holding some new babies.
Things really happen faster in here, don't they?
That they do. So, you approach the chief. Come with me, please. She'll lead you back to her quarters. So, I'm sure Keo informed you that tomorrow is Harvest Day.
Yes.
We need to go retrieve that kill. The resources from that are invaluable. And I'm grateful that those that did survive did.
Just wish not so many had to die in vain.
Well, they didn't, because what was meant to be happened. But that brings me to another point. When you're there tomorrow, I need you to go and examine a portion of the cavern. And you will need this.
Hold out my hand.
She gives you that ring that she's been using to open locks.
This is yours.
Technically, it's yours.
Seems like I left a trail of things when I left.
I'm not sure. It was given to me by Keo. It's how we keep the shipment safe.
How will you keep things safe without this, then? Do you want me to return it after?
I will need it back.
Okay. And you won't need it while I'm gone at all?
We'll manage.
Just worried to leave for even a day.
We're not expecting any deliveries tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. I take care of this. Put it on my hand.
You'll know what you're looking for when you find it.
Okay. Not a fan of how cryptic things are right now, but take your word for it.
So you rest? Go back to your quarters, rest up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do I get to have my cat inside with me?
Yes, you do.
Alright, cuddle my kitty.
When it enters the building, it shrinks to the size of a regular house cat.
That's useful. No?
Because when you brought it into the building, I'm sure your first concern was, is there going to be enough room?
Mm-hmm. So, you can change size based on the need.
I can shrink when I need to if, I don't want to scare people.
Well, as soon as we get ourselves to less crowded quarters, I would love to cuddle with you in your natural size. But thank you for being considerate.
So you make your way back to your quarters
Mm-hmm.
and get settled in. Now, do you want to meditate or do you want to sleep? Because you are still feeling quite relaxed enough that you could actually sleep.
I've not really slept before, so I'm gonna try that since it seems like I have the capability at the moment.
So,
See what that's like.
so when you get in the bed and your cat crawls up there, it grows just to the perfect size to where there's enough room for you and it on the bed.
Be cooking.
And you fall asleep, and you sleep for a full 8 hours. And during that sleep, you have dream after dream after dream. Some where you're riding your cat, some where you're in a different body. But they're very foggy. Can't quite make any details out. It's more of a sense that you get about it.
Impressions.
Yeah.
Alright. As I'm waking up from my first sleep ever, and I'm kind of a little disoriented from the dreams, since meditative trance dreams are more focused and intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
These were kind of random and not intentional at all.
Feeling very, very discombobulated. It's a strange sensation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of just gonna lay there in my bed for a minute and hold my kitty.
As you lay there, you realize that you feel more rested than you ever have.
I'm gonna try the sleep thing some more.
Like, you feel a little bit energized. Almost like you just take on the world.
Good thing, because I got a long day ahead of me.
So you, get up, leave your quarters, head out.
Mm-hmm.
As you exit the main hut, you see Rickdol with his handicap hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Now with like some kind of weird scoop contraption. It seems like he can like pick up a spear, put it in the atlatl.
Okay.
He's like still practicing with it.
Mm-hmm.
You can see him struggling. Occasionally he drops a spear on the ground, says a few curse words under his breath.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have fucking regenerate yet.
Yep.
So. And
Sitting here wishing I had
among the
some way to help.
Among the two of them, you notice a few other new recruits. You recognize them from previous villagers that you've seen throughout the area. Some that you think you recognize. I mean, they're really young. They look really young. But they look capable. Some, this may be their first venture out of the village. But there is an actual crew of 10 people. And they are pulling a wagon.
I thought we had some other way to transport the materials.
Not this big of a beast.
Okay. Looking around these new recruits, knowing what I know of their life cycle and seeing how some of them grew and some of them just popped out babies in the one day I was gone. Kind of be looking at these people and thinking how these were probably children when I left.
You do a quick head count. from what you can see, minimum 49. And you know there are other people inside buildings.
Kyo said things would start changing.
So, you approach Richtel and the hunting party?
Mm-hmm.
As you get closer to Richtel, make a perception check.
$19.
He seems younger.
Victor.
Yes? There's a little bit more pep to his voice.
You seem like you feel very well today.
Oh, I'm feeling fantastic.
Sounds like it.
I haven't felt this good since like 3 years ago.
I suppose for you that's a good part of your life.
A little less than a third of it so far. I am 10 after all.
Yeah. I heard that some things might be changing around here, but I hope it finds you well. How are the rest of your men doing? How's the one that made it back with us yesterday?
Because you attended to the wound so quickly with the ointment, he's not in too much pain. Still struggling to learn how to use his atlatl, so we may need to take a little bit of prep time. You know, before combat, if we are able to. Give him an extra moment. Maybe help him get loaded.
Of course. Of course. I'm gonna go talk to the guy with the arm.
Okay. You, as you walk up, he's fumbles again with it. God damn it. Oh, hey, it's you.
Hey, I'm glad to see you still have the ability to throw your weapon.
Well, in this village, we need all hands on deck, and I guess in my case, hand.
How's the fit on that thing? What's giving you issues? I mean, other than just getting used to it. Does it fit alright?
I mean, ideally it would be best if I could move it, but it's kind of just a stick with a hook on the end attached to my torso.
What kind of stick is it? Like a loggy type thing, or just like a stick?
It is literally a piece of leather that has been makeshift, and there is a stick that is strapped to it, and it's literally coming down his side.
How lenient are you on Druid craft?
Is it gonna be cool?
Yes.
What do you want to do?
I'm gonna ask him, mind if I try something? Shouldn't.
Not like you're gonna make it any worse.
No, that's true, and I'm gonna take some care with this here. Well, I'm gonna touch the shoulder where it's saying this shoulder here. Yeah. And touch his shoulder where it's strapped on. And I close my eyes. And try to will some of the just fucking floating around plant matter and spores I've got going on. To like start growing on that harness. And like down it.
Okay.
And try to make that a little more usable. Maybe try to get it to hinge a bit in the middle of the stick.
Okay. Your eyes are closed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's your staff?
In my hand.
And one hand's on his shoulder? Okay. No, you don't.
Staff in hand.
Okay.
Hand on shoulder.
So while your eyes are closed and you begin to focus, you hear him wince in pain a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and hear the sound of like branches and leaves rustling. When you open your eyes, you don't see the stick and the leather on his shoulder anymore. You see an arm made out of plant matter.
Kind of just look at it for a minute and take the hand off his shoulder. How's that?
He moves his arm. His fingers are kind of like little twigs with vines wrapped around them.
Creaking a little bit as he moves.
That'll do, I guess.
I suppose try to keep that arm watered and maybe the moss will help grow a little bit on your fingers.
When you look at it closer, where your shoulder is, and the arm begins, you notice that there's like roots coming out of it and going into his arm, and from your knowledge of medicine, you could see that it looks like the roots are actually connected to his veins, his circulatory system.
Kind of just examine him for a minute. Sorry, I didn't know I could do that. That's fantastic.
Not sure if it was you or your staff.
Did it do something?
It grew from your staff.
Yeah, I don't really know too much about this thing yet. So, guess we learn something new every day. I hope that's a bit better for you than the scoop.
Much. My name's Luke.
Nice to make your acquaintance, Luke.
Thank you again.
My name's Limliriel, and I'm sorry I couldn't do more yesterday, but
Oh, you did enough.
my heart goes out to your village, your people, and just I want to help where I can. So, what? I know you harvest these animals. What do you use them for other than
meat, of course. I did see
Well, the hides...
the sling made out of the hide.
The hides can... taps his armor. Can help protect us, especially off something that big. Their hides are thicker.
Ah, yes. I can see how that would make some good armor.
And, well, I don't know if how closely you've examined our huts, but if you take a look, the framework's not made out of wood.
I do suppose bone is a much more durable material.
It is, and treated properly with Kyo's help that he taught us. They bend and fluctuate with weather, and like when wind hits them, they don't get easily destroyed.
That certainly is a useful material. I know some woods do that, but not all, and at least where I'm from, we hear from other realms that a lot of the time you have to really go on the hunt for those kinds of materials. They're not something that just grows easily. Well,
I think we're about ready to leave.
Yep. Well, grab my stuff, load
Yes.
up, and jump up on my kitty.
Head out. It's early in the morning, not super early, about 8-9 o'clock when you guys leave. And because they're having to pull this wagon, it takes a good 6 hours to get there. So you get there around 2 in the afternoon. There's a few vultures feeding on the carcass, on the soft spots, but nothing damaged too much that they're not going to be able to get what they need.
Okay.
They set up the wagon next to the carcass and begin to get to work.
I'm gonna
A couple of them stand and watch guard.
turn to my cat and say, keep watch.
Will do.
Thank you. Give a little pat. And making sure I'm looking around and trying to keep an eye and ear out as well.
It is a dead carcass. Not many things want to come to it except scavengers. Like, you can see that there have been signs of scavengers, but like the actual carnivores, unless they're starving, you get the sense that they will not fucking eat a dead carcass. Especially another carnivore.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna, like I said, just keep an ear out. I mean, it seems pretty safe, but I was told to protect these people, so
Just in case.
I'm gonna just stay alert and go over and ask the group if there's anything I can do to help. Can I do...
Well, the first thing they do is they gut it and they start, doing the dust. And you notice when you approach the carcass and ask if you can do anything to help, that your staff is beginning to spew out dust.
Huh.
And it looks very similar to the same dust they're using.
What is this stuff?
Rick Dole hears you say that. We get it from Kyo. All I know is it helps preserve and kind of prepare meat. In a sense, pre-cooks it. I mean, it's better if you cook it over the fire and adds better flavor, but it is edible after the dust being on it 24 hours.
I see. That's why when you brought the beast out that night, it seems like it had already been pre-cooked some.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess this is a good enough job for me, and I just kind of stand behind them or next to them where they're cutting at, and just start waving my.
So, as you begin to like waft your staff over this corpse, the spores just go everywhere they're needed. The party's sitting back in awe and watching this, and they're like, well, you just saved us a bunch of time. And literally, like, takes just a few seconds, and this massive cloud comes out of your staff and engulfs the whole corpse.
As they're butchering it.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of starts to settle on all the cut surfaces, basically.
Yeah, it goes inside as they gut it.
Mm-hmm.
So
it like impregnates it.
It like impregnates it from inside and out, and creates a surface, and essentially cures it.
Mm-hmm.
So, cures the outside of it, and over the next 24 hours, the spores seep in, cooking it.
Okay. So you're just cutting, I'm assuming since this is much larger than the one...
Yes, what they're doing is they're cutting off chunks of meat,
Mm-hmm.
fairly good portion sizes, putting them in bags. And after a while, like, they started working on a leg, okay? And they finally get down to, like, some bones, and they got this one, like, the calf, like the shin bone cleared, and you see them, they put it on the wagon.
Okay.
The wagon was for the bones.
Okay. So the wagon's to carry all the bones,
Mm-hmm.
and they're cutting the meat away from the bones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where are they putting the meat?
In packs.
In the packs.
Okay. In bags that bags of colding.
Okay. Well,
Well, I guess no, bags of holding, not bags of cold. The meat's cured.
I guess is my crystal knife daggery thing like something that looks like it'd be good for hacking this shit up too?
I mean, you'll cut it, yeah. You haven't tried to cut anything with it.
No, I did.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you did. That's right. To retrieve a pant leg.
And a shoe. Boot.
And a shoe and a boot. A boot.
It was the boot that I was really after.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll try joining in.
Okay.
And I just
Where's your staff?
in my hand,
And where's the dagger?
in my other hand.
Okay. You feel a slight pulling sensation between the two.
Pulling, like magnets.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of cautiously let it pull together.
As you get closer and closer, the staff reaches, like, vines start kind of reaching out towards it. Not stretching out towards it, but you can see that they want to grab it, but it's almost like you get a sense that you have to will it to happen.
Okay. Well, not in any kind of rush right now. So I'm just gonna stand back from everyone a little bit and will the vines to grasp onto the dagger?
The moment you have that thought, the vines move quicker than you have ever seen them on your staff and lunge for the dagger. Wrap around it. Rip it out of your other hand.
Whoa.
Pull it into the staff. And a few moments later, you start to notice streaks of blended quartz throughout your staff.
This staff just really likes to have stuff attached to it. And kind of sit there and examine it as it like grows out quartz veins.
Okay. You get a sense that when you use a spell or a spell-like ability, i.e. from the staff,
Mm-hmm.
things are a little bit easier to hit. +1 to all spell attacks.
To spell attacks.
Mm-hmm. So, basically, they're doing that. Richtel looks at you and says, well, we're not going to be here as long as we thought we did. Did you have any business here? Nola mentioned something about you making sure you go into the cave.
Yes, I'm supposed to be looking for something. I'm not sure what, but that is my mission, I guess. Were you guys going to go back to the village or come to the cave with me?
We're still going to be out here for probably another hour or two. Once we're done, we'll head back, because I'm sure your mount can carry you quicker than we can travel.
If yesterday was any indication, then yes. I've
Okay.
never quite traveled that fast. So, I guess I'll take my leave and do a quick perimeter check.
Okay. Seems like they're just busy working. Your cat's keeping an eye. They notice you looking, and they're like, you hear in your mind, go ahead. I'll let you know if anything happens.
Who's that?
Your cat.
Oh.
If you haven't figured out, you have a telepathic bond with this cat.
Is he telling me to go ahead?
Into the cave? Yeah.
Or not that far from the cave?
You're at the mouth of the cave.
Oh, that's what we're... Okay.
That's what you're harvesting,
okay.
that big, huge...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I will make my way back into this cave.
Okay. When you enter the cave, you notice that as it gets darker, without closing your eyes, you can see the Lifelight.
That's better.
So, and it kind of offers a little... You're still walking through what looks like pitch black. The only way that you know you're not running into anything is you can see you can see the surrounding walls and ceiling and floor of the cave, but it's not that you can actually see the stone. You can see these veins. It's almost like you're walking on nothing except these, like...
The web.
The web.
This is, different. Alright. Well.
So you make your way down the tunnel.
Just kind of trying to keep an eye out for what the heck I'm supposed to be looking for.
And you get back to the mouth of the cavern. Live up. Roll a perception check. You don't notice anything right off the top, like at first glance. So, like, you start looking around a little bit more.
It's gotta be here. She said there would be something here.
And as you're making your way around the cavern and you get to the kegs, you notice behind them that, like, there's a lot of intentional overgrowth. Like, there's vines that are longer right there than every other spot in the cave.
Intentional, like someone made it grow that way?
Quite possibly.
I'm gonna touch one of these vines, I guess.
They don't move.
Okay.
But as you go up and touch the vines and, like, they don't move on their own, but you can move them, you notice a little indentation in the stone wall.
That looks familiar. Gonna go try to fit the ring over into that indentation.
So as soon as you press the ring there, the stone begins to soften into mud and spirals out into the surrounding walls. Basically just disappears. And there is a dark cavern in front of you.
Dark cavern.
Like,
do I still see the veins? Okay. I look up at the top of my staff. I'm like, there's no chance you make light, is there?
so after a moment, some spores begin to emerge from your staff and emit a iridescent glow. Kind of I want to say like a glow stick light. Okay? That green hue. Okay?
Okay. So like your typical glow in the dark phosphorescent color. Okay.
And when that happens and your eyes begin to adjust a little bit, you notice that there are shiny streaks beginning to form on the walls of this cave.
Shiny streaks? What kind of shiny streaks? Let me go look at these shiny streaks.
You examine them?
Yes.
The texture's a little bit softer. And as you, like, look further down the cavern, it seems like they're starting to get, like, bigger.
Alright. Kind of hold my staff in front of me and
Keep walking.
keep walking.
So you walk for about 150 to 200 feet. Hard to figure out exactly. Your visibility with your staff's literally about 10 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice that the walls begin to spread outward, and in front of you is darkness. And no, you don't have a magic missile to cast.
If there's girls there, I want to do them.
There's no girls in the cave. Unless you are portraying yourself as a girl, and then that is you, and I guess in that case you can go fuck yourself.
Alright, so I'm looking in this cave and I'm pretty much looking at mostly darkness.
Yeah, because it's literally like a 10-foot radius. Like, so, like, you can see 10 feet, and it's almost like there's a fucking wall of darkness.
Alright. Guess I'm gonna try creeping along the wall in here and seeing if there's anything on the wall.
Like, well, you walk in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So you step into the room and, like, trying to walk along the walls, and once you get in there, you realize that the walls are no more than really like 15 feet apart. Like, this cavern's a very small cavern. And you catch a slight glimmer from the far end of the cavern, about 10, 15 feet away from you.
So, I'm not able to see in here as well as I think I should. I'm just gonna say fuck it and walk into the center of the room towards the glimmer.
Okay. As you approach the glimmer, you can start to make out that there's almost like a pedestal, but it's almost like it grew out of what, now that you're seeing this whole small room is covered in, is silver. And it's almost like the silver has grown up out of the ground, like a pedestal. And atop that pedestal is rather large egg-looking object.
I'm going to approach it.
As you take a step closer and get within 5 feet of the egg, you see that it actually shakes a little.
I reach out and touch it.
It is warm but cool to the touch at the same time. And you feel a very, very strong magical pulse emanating from it. Right now it looks like, it's hard to say exactly the fine details. You can't tell exactly the color because you're under a green light.
I'm under a green light.
You assume that the egg has silver as part of its makeup.
Does it look like it's made from the same materials around me, like the silver grown out? Okay. and just kind of sit there and wait for a few to see if anything happens.
Nothing.
Nothing? Alright. Touch it again?
Feels same as before.
Okay. Does it look like I can move it? Like, is it connected to the pedestal?
You don't know.
Alright.
Try to pick it up.
Yeah, guess I'm gonna try to pick it up.
So when you go to pick it up, you feel like a slight crack as
Oh,
it
shit.
dislodges from the pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
The egg's fine though.
Okay.
But it heavy. Like you estimate it's like 40-50 pounds.
Shit.
However, it does look like it would fit through the opening of your fanny pack. The big pouch.
Kind of scoot that pouch around and like open up the mouth and try to make it all nice and easy to fit that egg
Put the egg
in
in
there.
there? Okay. Goes in there nice and easy, you know. It's probably about a foot tall and corresponding diameter.
I'm gonna close up 2/3 roughly of the flap on it.
On the back.
Yeah.
It's extra-dimensional space, baby. It goes right in.
I know that. Trying to leave it open for air.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Good call.
So I do know that eggs do like have they breathe.
Mm-hmm.
They breathe. They do
Okay.
need oxygen.
Okay. So, what are you doing now?
Look around the rest of the room and no?
Just a shit ton of silver.
Shit ton of silver.
Yep.
Try something real quick. Alright, I'm gonna take that fanny pack off.
Mm-hmm.
Set it down gently on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of scoot the egg out the top a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And take my staff and touch the egg with it.
Okay. When you do that, the egg lights up. When you can see that there is an entity inside of it. An embryo.
Mm-hmm. But nothing else happens? Okay. Oh, I'm gonna pick the bag up again. I'm gonna talk to it. Be like, hi.
You feel it vibrate a little in your hands.
Am I supposed to take you?
You feel it vibrate a little in your hands.
I'll keep you safe.
You feel it vibrate a little in your hands.
Right. Now, strap my fanny pack back on. Make sure that lid's like secure enough.
You're being very anal retentive right now. Yes,
Yes.
It is. You are taking the time to be very careful with it. It is okay.
Yes. All right. Well, you said there didn't look like there's anything else in the room.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Except a bunch of silver.
Bunch of silver. And there's a green light.
Mm. The green glow emanating from the spores
gotcha,
on your staff.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I'm gonna, I guess, head back out.
Okay.
Is the stuff I was seeing on the walls on the way in silver?
You can, now that you're leaving the room and watching, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's those slight veins that you saw in the beginning of that cavern, yeah, it looks... You are not proficient in, like, mining or anything like that. But from what you could tell, because this is pretty much an idiot could tell this, it is a very massive silver vein. Solid silver, pure vein.
Well, I haven't dealt too much with, like, mining-y, underground-y areas, so, like, I've never seen this firsthand. We're like, okay. Well, now I know what silver on the ground looks like. Alright, we're gonna leave out of the tunnel and, like, turn around to see if it closes up or anything. No?
Stays open.
I shake my stick at it. Wave my staff around.
Stays open.
It was closed at one point. I mean, it did turn to mud, but...
There wasn't a door. There was a wall of stone that turned to mud. That melded into the rest of the stone walls around it.
Just like wondering if that space is supposed to stay secret.
It was supposed to stay secret. But someone is currently carrying the secret in their fanny pack.
Alright. I'll head back on out.
Okay. It took you overall probably about an hour while you're in there. As you're exiting the cave entrance, like, there's not much left of the corpse. Like, they're kind of getting ready to load the rib cage and spine and skull. So, and as you exit, you do notice that your cat has been was picking up a bone and setting it on the wagon, trying to help. So,
I just smile at that. Thank you for helping while I was away.
You're welcome. I can pull the wagon back too.
Might be nice to let their animals have some rest. Or at least some help.
No, there were no animals.
Oh, they were pulling the wagon.
That's why it took so long.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, okay, so
Have I said there is a single animal in that village other than Trikey?
No, you haven't. Yeah, I'm sure they would appreciate the help. You don't mind?
I can do that. And it walks over to the front of the wagon, and where the handles are, that, like, they had, like, 4 people on each handle pulling this fucking wagon. Vines just come out of the cat, wrap around those handles, and it attaches itself to the wagon and lets you know, I'm ready.
I'm gonna go get on top of my kitty then.
And you guys start making your way back, and it takes you about 3 hours to get back.
About half the time, even though we're fully loaded. Okay.
Because best you can tell, your mount, your cat, doesn't suffer from encumbrance. At least here.
I mean, it does seem to be made out of roughly the same stuff as the world itself.
Like, its walking speed is 40. And it does not have hindrance to its walking.
Okay. Noted.
I mean, the only reason why you guys aren't porting through trees and bushes right now is because, like, you have way too many people. It is basically who can fit on it. Who you can carry.
Alrighty. So,
So-
make our way back to the village.
Yep. Takes you, we'll say closer to 4 hours. You got a lot of people with you.
Probably need to take some breaks.
Yeah. So you get back probably around like 5 in the evening. Been a long day, you know. You get back to the village, people start unloading the wagon. Cat just chips in, starts helping. When you arrive into town, as you're entering the village, is the egg still sticking out of your pack?
No, I didn't have it sticking out. I had it in there, but like, so
Open so air could get in.
like 2/3 of it closed over, but like part of it tucked back so that.
Okay, I see. Okay, yeah. So, get everything's getting unloaded and whatnot, and Keo comes up to you, tugs on your clothing, get your attention.
Yes.
Do you have it?
I think I do. It seemed like a pretty important thing. So.
Let's go to my hut.
Okay.
Village is distracted with us right now.
Yes. Good idea.
So you guys make your way over to his hut, get inside, and he puts out this little thing that looks like it could hold the egg. He's like, well, let's see it.
Let's bring my pack around and unhook it and take the egg out and set it on the little holder.
Still in the condition that she left it in.
Just kind of look at him curiously.
These were one of the things that you brought here to keep safe. You didn't tell me exactly where it came from.
When did I bring this here?
In the first 100 years of this realm's existence.
Okay. I mean, I've heard of things like this. Haven't really seen any myself. I
Things
think
like what?
I think I know what it might be.
What?
I think it might be. It's either. I don't really know sizes on these things. I don't really know distinct characteristics, but it seems like it could be on the big end a dragon, or on the smaller end some other kind of magical lizardy creature. There's a lot of different types of those from what I understand.
Hold on. What's this dragon you speak of?
It's kind of like your dinosaurs, your creatures you have here, except they, from what I understand, get much bigger and are very different and have magic.
How do you know so much about them?
I get a lot of travelers through where I come from, and
The Feywild.
yes, and one of the things that my people accept as payment or trade for services such as not being a complete annoying pest while you're traveling through is we take stories. And so we get a lot of stories from people from different places, and a lot of adventurers and groups of people seem to talk about
these things as if they're a big threat to them where they're from. Where I'm from, we only have the smaller creatures. Little, call them fairy dragons. Tiny.
Okay.
We get smaller, nicer versions of those flying snakes I saw earlier.
We have never seen dragons here, as you call them.
The closest I've seen is fairy dragons, but they are not the same thing at all. Some traveler named them fairy dragons and it kind of stuck. So, all I have really is tall tales and anecdotes and bragging stories from people who say they've encountered it. I don't really know much, but they have talked about, like, eggs, and I've heard that some of these dragons are different colors. So there's ones that are normal colors, I guess, and then there's ones that are metal colors. I guess some of them are good and some are bad, but I don't understand.
Let me get this straight. When you brought this egg here, you didn't know what it was.
Not quite. For all...
No, let me finish. But now you know what.
I saw something inside it in the cave.
He's looking very puzzled right now.
I didn't know what it was before.
He starts scribbling some numbers down on a piece of paper. What year was it in the Feywild when you came here?
Don't know. We don't really measure time the same way people in the material plane do. It just kind of happens.
Do you recall the most recent material date plane? Or plane date?
The last one I had coming through from the place that we most often get travelers from, I have no idea what.
You give them an odd number. Writes it down, does some math.
Don't really know how these people measure time.
Means you're from the future.
Me? Or the other me?
This incarnate of you. Because
So,
according to my math, with the knowledge that you're giving me, dragons don't exist yet.
wait,
This egg was brought here.
not by a dragon.
By you. When you were in Dryad.
Where did I get it from?
I don't know. All I know is before you left, you were gathering all sorts of weird materials.
Wonder if I left any notes somewhere. Well, I guess I present to you a new species. I mean, I know time works funny where I'm from, but haven't really encountered anyone from somewhere where dragons didn't exist.
So, as you're sitting there talking and he's looking at the egg and whatnot, looks at you. Hold on a second. He looks on the underside of it. This crack wasn't here before.
I don't think I cracked it.
It's impossible for you to crack it.
I mean, it looks like it's made out of solid metal. I don't know much about the care of these things. What do we do?
We probably have some time. Just maybe you should stay here with me.
If you feel comfortable watching over it.
It'll be safe.
Okay.
Plus, if you're gonna be traveling, you probably shouldn't have to worry about Nick.
No. Don't really need anything hatching in the middle of problematic situation, so I think this would be a much calmer place for this thing to crack or whatever.
I mean, I did keep it safe for 1,000 years, after all.
Right, you did. You did kind of, hide where it was, didn't you?
I followed as directed.
Huh? Thank you. I suppose this is something very important, if what you say about me is true. And if it is indeed the first of its kind here, then it really does need protecting.
I'll contact the other guardians and see if they've heard from any of the people that have been brought here about dragons. If you're thinking, why does the village not know about dragons? They died off and switched generation after generation so quickly, the knowledge of dragons got lost.
Yeah, you're gonna lose a lot of knowledge.
Because only the
if all of a
important
sudden
survival shit was shared.
Yeah, if you only have time to share a limited amount of information.
Mm-hmm. So, but yes, so, well, I shall keep it safe, and, well,
Thank you, Q. If there's any news on it and you can find a way to contact me, please do let me know.
I will. So, you leave his hut?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you leave, you hear the sound of drums being played. See the fire starting, starting to grow. And, Notice that there's some rather big chunks on the stick and one of those giant wings from the broodmother.
Nice. Well, guess it's time to get the party started. I'm gonna go taste some of this meat that I helped kill.
Okay.
I head over that way, pop back into my sleeping area, grab my drum.
Okay. You hang out, for the evening. Not really eventful. Kind of just everybody celebrating this big trophy kill. Like, this is really big for them.
How's everyone looking, particularly the elderly people?
Well,
Now that I've got a crowd here where I can examine them.
you haven't really seen the chief at all today?
I had noticed that.
Got up and left, and well, she's there in the drum circle, and her silver hair's not silver anymore. More of a silverish with other tones in it.
Good. She deserves that.
Not as wrinkly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alright, let me pause the shoot here.
So it's evening. You're partaking in the drum circle, hanging out with the village, and you're focused on playing your drum in the zone, and some commotion catches your ear, and you see a halfling that the villagers are going to greet that is running into the village on a pony.
That's definitely eye-catching. Neither of those things are very common around these parts, it seems.
So, a few moments later,
I'm just gonna, watch and see what's
Yeah.
going on there. for a
the
minute.
village gathers, to greet them.
The whole
and
village.
the whole whoever's outside
Gotcha.
to see what's going on,
Well, in that case, I'll
because
Follow.
they see the person on this pony seems like they are in a rush.
Mhm.
Okay, and as they get there, they're greeted by Chief Nola. She's outside and with everybody else, and Loris, what seems to be the problem? Turning to the halfling. Halfling dismounts the pony, and a little bit taller than Keo, female.
Okay.
Nola, Chief Nola, I don't know what to do. I need help. There's an evil presence that appeared around our village, and it's starting to spread. It's causing some sort of blight amongst the wilderness. So, Chief Nola grabs her by the hand and takes her inside the main hut
Mm-hmm.
to console her and calm her down and whatnot. And quickly behind them is Keo.
Well, if they're interested in this, I'm gonna follow them.
You're gonna follow them in the
Yes.
hut?
Yes.
Okay. So you follow them in the hut, and they don't even go back to the quarters. They just sit her down right there. And she describes that there is a globe of blackness that appeared nearby their halfling village. And it is beginning to essentially eat the wilderness around it.
I listen to their conversation quietly. Assume I'm standing next to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you listen in on the conversation,
basically you find out a little bit more details. It appeared like a few days ago, because it's about a 2-day journey from here to there. So, yeah. Let's see. So Chief Noah basically starts setting up some quarters for Loris and insists that she rest there that evening. And, gives her a cup of tea, and Kyo goes in the quarters and sits down with her and consults her, and Chief Noah approaches you. It looks like your timing and arrival were appropriate.
Seems that way. I know they need help, and you guys can't really leave here, so I know I'm not very experienced, but it seems like I can maybe be of assistance.
Well, I will speak to Kyo. Make sure you get some rest this evening, and prepare to leave tomorrow morning. And I hope you understand how far you need to travel. No one can accompany you on this journey.
I understand that. You guys need to stay here and take care of yourselves. How far away did she say it was?
It's 2-day travels by pony.
2-day travel by pony. Maybe we can hasten that along a bit. Well, I suppose I should probably oops. Head down head to bed for the shit.
Turn your notifications off, baby.
I'm totally leaving that in there.
You should. And anybody that's a Critical Role fan will hear it, and they're gonna be like,
That is my notification tone. Well, should probably head to bed for the night.
okay.
Thank you for everything that you've done for me.
You're welcome.
Certainly made my short time in this new place a lot more enjoyable.
Your presence is refreshing.
Just kind of smile. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to go speak with Kyo and Morris, find out more details, and she'll see you in the morning.
I would like to say goodbye before we head out.
So, she leaves your side and goes back into the quarters, closes the divider, and you can see as you look in there that Kyo is like consulting, like standing in front of Loris, and Loris kind of leaned over, like hugging and crying.
Well, I'll sit and make sure I've got all my things prepared so I don't have to in the morning, and
Okay.
I'm gonna try to gather up some of my rose petals and find something to put them in.
Right.
Like a good,
Container.
well, a good handful of them.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming they're kind of just all over my living quarters.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anywhere I spend a lot of time.
Yeah, I'll say after you gather, you probably get about half a onto petals.
Okay.
So
Well,
you produce about 2 ounces every day.
okay. I'm gonna try to find something to put them in. Do I have any, like, fabric handy?
You have your backpack that you started with.
Sure, I probably have a container in the collection kit.
Oh, in your herbalism kit?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
you have,
like a sack.
Yeah.
Of some kind.
Yep.
Alright, well, I'm gonna put those petals in there. And tuck that into my
Okay.
bag for the night.
Alright. And, you, bed down for the evening and begin to meditate. Before you bed down, your cat comes walking in your quarters,
Mm-hmm.
jumps up on the bed and in your lap. As you meditate, you you take a long rest. You feel that your knowledge is increased. These visions, they're almost like memories. One very particular memory. You see from first person perspective. You're playing a lute.
A lute.
Yes, a lute. And you're playing it quite well. And when you awaken from your meditative state, you recall your vision and you realize that you have knowledge of how to play a lute. You gain proficiency with the lute.
That's interesting.
As you're reflecting on this and kind of puzzled, you hear a tap on the divider.
Yes.
Are you decent?
That I am.
See the divider move a little bit and CEO comes around. You should probably be getting ready and leaving soon, I take it.
Yeah, I'd like to lend my aid
Well,
if I can.
I brought something for you.
What's that?
Let's call it a care package for your journey. And he hands you this bag. Go ahead, look inside.
Open it up.
Start reaching inside.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of space in this bag.
Kyo, is this extra dimensional space?
Yes, it's a bag of holding. Backpack.
I've heard about these. I'm sure that will come in very useful.
Inside is a small pouch, a flask, a rod, and a bunch of containers. Jars, little pouches. And Kyo looks up at you. So the little pouch, I'm sure you're aware of what good berries are.
Yes.
That produces good berries.
Oh.
The flask, well, where you're going, you're gonna need water. You have to cross through a desert.
I've never been to a desert before. Yeah, I'm gonna need some water. Is this full? Like, reach in, grab it.
Do you open it?
Yes.
You take a drink or pour it
I'm
somewhere?
gonna look in it.
It looks like full thing of water. Full flask of water.
Mm-hmm.
It always refills. Keo informs you that it's a never full flask.
That is good to have. I've heard that you can find water in deserts, but I know it's gotta be pretty hard.
And the rod is one of my own creations.
What's that?
Well, I'm not as skilled as, say, some other magic people that can create items, but this rod has a 1 use per day. But it is bound to me. I could only get it bound to me. I couldn't change where it went. But it essentially summons an air elemental that holds a chest. You can deliver things to me while you're out. And that brings me to my next thing.
Lord, dude.
On the other side of the desert, before you reach the village, there is said to be a very lush part of forest that holds a bunch of those plants that I need for the ointment.
Okay.
And because we don't go there, feel free to pick it clean, but try not to kill the plants.
Of course. I know how to do that. Well, thank you very much, Keel.
You're welcome. I wish you safe journeys. And he holds up his little arm towards you.
I'm gonna squat slightly and hold out my hand.
Grabs you by the forearm in firm grasp. Looks at you dead in the eye. Glad that you returned.
I'm glad to have met you. Again, I suppose.
He chuckles a little bit. So he leads you, kind of waits for you to get your stuff gathered, leads you outside of the hut. Standing outside is the whole village. In front of them is the chief. They're all there to see you off. And as you look over the village, you notice that the older looking ones aren't as older looking. The younger ones look a little bit older. It seems your presence in the village and what has been going on is starting to balance and average out where everybody is going to be. And the other thing is, you look over and you do a head count, like a quick, there's over 60 people there.
Kind of smile a little and say under my breath. Good. It's good.
You still don't know quite where they're coming from,
No.
But there's more people there. And these new faces that you're seeing, well, their ears pointy as shit.
Like, way more pointy than everyone but Nola.
Look very similar to an elf.
Well, I'm going to approach Nola, and first thing I'm going to do is to take that ring off and hand it back to her.
Thank you.
I told you I would return it.
I almost forgot.
You need this more than I do. I also have a gift for you.
What is that?
I reach into my bag, pull out the bag of rose petals that I had gathered up earlier.
Ah. Rorik was mentioning something about your rose petal tea. I was eager to try it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's the least I could do for your hospitality.
Or, not Rorik. Richtel. Sorry. Richtel.
Yeah,
Not Rorik.
I knew you were talking about.
That's a good name, though.
Rorik.
Rorik, yeah.
Might want to write that down like in a scribbly bit.
Okay. So, as you, like, are, you know, some of the villagers are saying bye to you and whatnot, you know,
Shaking some hands.
shaking some hands, you know, Richtel approaches you and hands you a little scroll case. Here's a map to guide you to the village.
Thank you. That will help a lot.
Be careful crossing that desert.
I will be. I'm very nervous about that kind of terrain.
And, so you get on your cat and head off?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because
Gonna mount up on my moss cat and
everybody, you know, starts waving goodbye as you exit the village, heading, westbound, towards the sun.
I'm assuming Glorious is with me.
No,
No?
Boris is staying behind.
Okay.
From what the chief got, that village is no longer safe.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna open this map while I'm sitting on my moss cat. Examine it.
So, you see, obviously, a map of the continent you're on. And the desert that you've heard so much about is right here.
Okay.
Okay, it's a coastal desert. Almost like a beach, but no, it's a desert.
Mm-hmm.
And on this side of here, up, like, right at that small little area, there's a village.
At that little inlet.
Yeah, like this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And where they're talking about is on the northern part right here.
Okay.
So you take off, and again, you start, you know, having things whiz by you super fast. You have no idea how fast you're traveling.
As we're traveling, I'm going to think to my moss cat, how are you doing this?
Well, you know how it's been looking like we've been running into trees.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I never seem to hit them.
We're using them, essentially kind of like a board.
Oh. I've seen that done from a distance before, but I've never done it myself.
Essentially, it's using a form of tree stride. Or step through trees or something like
It's
that.
either tree stride or teleport via plants.
It's probably teleport via plants and tree stride combo.
Gotcha.
So you ride for a good third of the day. Okay. And you're going a little too fast to whip out a book and start reading it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm just kind of holding on.
about a third of the way through the day, the cat abruptly stops as it exits one tree. Now that you are aware of what's going on, you're able to pick up that, hey, we just exited a tree.
Mm-hmm.
You come to an edge of the forest. And in front of you is just sand.
Look at this very apprehensively. Kind of hold on a little tighter to my kitty.
You hear in your mind, I can't do that here. We have to go at a regular pace.
I assumed so.
So begin to go through the desert.
Just walking through the desert.